We'll count me in there now. Hello, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting to order. It's 1:30 on July 13th, 2021. Are there any additions to the agenda? And I'm going to go around my screen. Start with Merv.
No.
Jack.
No, I don't have any.
Brent.
Yeah, I just have one. It's just a resolution to support the Fort Erie capital gains tax on primary residences.
Okay. And Jen?
I don't have a mayor's report for today. And Brent, the resolution you're speaking to, I have on the agenda for this evening.
Okay. And now I did look through the package and I did see, and I'll ask Annette for clarification where we should fit this in. I did want some clarification on our announcements for upcoming fireworks. So will we be discussing that? I see it was in Kevin's report. Will we be going into that into extent?
I didn't have it on there, but we can add it under new business if you want.
No, it was just that I had seen and I read in the paper that we almost had a date set for our fireworks, but I kind of wanted to discuss how we come up with that.
Sure. Yeah, we can.
Okay.
So we can add that under new business. Pick a date for fireworks.
Okay. And also, I would like to add in, when it comes to our fire department, if there's a political stance or statements to be issued, where should we stand on that?
I don't think there would be a political stance or statement coming from our fire department. That would only come from council.
Okay. The reason why I'm asking, because I was also reading an article in the paper and there was a pretty big political statement that was issued in there. And I just wanted to address that statement.
Okay. Well, you can add that under new business if the committee approves the agenda to add that under new business, but I don't know what, I don't know what statement you're talking about, so.
Oh, okay. No, it was about the fireworks. The reason they were postponed was because of what happened or what was going on in the local communities. And I was just wondering if our fire department should be politically aligned with stuff or if it should be just a generic, we're canceling the fireworks because that's basically what I wanted to get into.
The fireworks were canceled because of weather, which all of council was emailed that information.
Yes.
So there was no political statement made. I know we had a meeting originally scheduled to discuss the political impact of having the fireworks on Canada Day, but we canceled that meeting. So, so we can talk about when we're going to reschedule the fireworks, but I don't know.
I'm just trying to fit it in where. No, I read it in the paper of one that got out prior to, and it was a political statement made by our Bonashire Valley Fire Department. And no, I just wanted to say that, or touch on that.
Gotcha. I got you now. Yes.
Our fire department relations shouldn't be giving political.
That's correct. And we already dealt with that. We already dealt with that operationally because it was sent in error because they thought that we had gone ahead and had the meeting and council had made that statement. And as soon as we told the fire department, no, council didn't do that. We didn't make that. We didn't have that meeting. It was retracted right away. So we can talk about that under new business if you want, but yeah.
And all I just want to make sure is that something like that doesn't happen in the future. That's all.
No, it won't.
Nothing that I'm not trying to slam anybody, but I just want to know where the stance should be.
That's fine.
That's where I want clarification. That's all.
Sure.
It's all simple questions.
No problem. No problem. That was handled operationally, but I can certainly report on that under new business if committee approves the amendments to the agenda.
Okay. So other than that, that was all the information that I was requiring. So can I get an approval of the agenda as modified? Merv, seconded by Jack, all in favor? Perfect. Is there any pecuniary interest or the general nature thereof? Seeing none, Can I get an approval of the minutes for June 22nd, 2021? Ken? All in favor? Okay, I don't see any delegations, so our first report is Daryl. I see Daryl's on the panel, so we'll go ahead with Daryl whenever you're ready.
Hello.
Thank
Hi,
you, report.
Daryl. Oh, you're muted again, Daryl.
All right. Everything's going reasonably well here. We got through our audit. We just got our new certification on Friday night. So we're good for 3 more years. And they're already starting to organize for the next audit in November. Other than that, we've been just doing maintenance and flushing and you name it, whatever, changing valves, doing repairs, all kinds of stuff like that. So, and that's pretty well it.
All is well, Daryl.
Yep.
That's good. Any questions for Daryl from council? Seeing none. Well, Daryl, sorry we took up too much of your time there. Everything looks good on our end. It's good to see you, Daryl.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next we have, is Jason in the waiting room yet, Annette? No? Okay. We can move on. And you said there's no mayor's report. I can give my EGC update right now if you want, if everybody's okay with that. So with the rain we've been getting in the last, well, I'd say month or so, it's really helped improve with the generation capabilities down at our dam, and hopefully it'll offset some of the dry spring that we've had. So everything seems to be moving forward and going along good. So we're not counting any chickens before they hatch, but we just like to say we're starting to catch up. That's all. So other than that, she's good. Murph?
Yeah, I was just thinking the other day here when I had nothing but better to think about. I've noticed that since we applied the last time, we were rejected for building another expanded generations on another dam, and we got rejected. They've done a lot of line upgrades, particularly on the 44 lines and whatnot. I was just wondering if it was worthwhile taking another stab at applying for another dam. I know we've got, quite a bit of debt right now, but I'm just wondering with these upgrades, and now with Heidemann consuming a lot of power, I'm just wondering if there's an opportunity here to try that again.
Go ahead, Jen.
You're not wrong. The challenge at the time was transmission. There wasn't enough transmission line to get it back to Cobden or towards Killaloe. But that could be very different right now. Certainly something that should be probably looked into. I mean, it was years ago that they told us that we didn't have enough transmission, but with Heidemann's upgrade, who knows what there is now.
The 44,000 volt east-west lines, they've changed the poles, lengthened the poles. I don't know whether they run another conductor under those or not, but they've been doing an awful lot of work on the east-west tie up towards Barry's Bay through from Eganville.
Brent?
No, it's definitely it's something I definitely support looking into. At least it makes sense because you just look at we have natural gas coming to our area, so obviously the projected future is growth, is demand, and it will be an increase in hydro usage. So I think something that we should look into. So I support it.
And Jack?
I'm quite willing to look into it and check, but we got to realize the projected site for that is McCrae Park. So that's where the plat was supposed to go. So The question is, how much work are you willing to put into it and what you're going to give up for it? That's the issue. Because that's the site, the location where the dam is supposed to go. That's where the property was acquired.
Yes, Brent?
I was going to say, I think it's still worthwhile to look into, and we can adapt the park as needed. But I think it's still something. I think the positives outweigh the negatives, and I think we should still look further into it. And then, be it successful, we can look at alternative arrangements on it.
Jen, I see you have your pen up.
Jack, correct me if I'm wrong, but EGC owns the land on the other side of the river as well, correct?
Yes, that land was acquired by a different power producer in turn for other property that we gave up back in 2012, I believe it was, or 2014, sometime around there. So we do, we'd have to look in how we're going to, because you're going to infringe both sides of the river to dam it off, right? So, and that's the thing you'd have to, I can touch base with the corporation that we're a member of, because they're very helpful in awarding contracts, and I can see what the possibility are. It's like start the ball rolling, and then we can go from there. And once that, if it is a possibility, then we'll have to, council or the board will have to make a decision, right? Because that property was owned and leased by EGC to the township where McRae Park is.
Okay. Definitely something that we're all supporting, at least to look into for sure. So, if any other questions on the EGC report? Okay, do we want to move on to correspondence that we're waiting on, Jason? Because I think the last one we have to wait on Jason regardless. Doing number 3.
He was scheduled for 1:45 and he's just going to be a couple of minutes late. He texted me. So I can do my report too, if you'd like, whichever you'd like.
Oh, sure, Annette, if you'd like. Go ahead, Brent.
I was going to say if number 3, but we can utilize number 4 and on new and unfinished business if you'd like. Just pertaining to just for the bylaw to support, or not the bylaw, the resolution to support Fort Erie. So we can discuss that quickly just to get that off our table. So pretty much is just I just put on the new unfinished, and I understand it's the resolution's already been made, but it's just because it's in our correspondences, and it's really just what the request is to ask the federal government to cease further considerations of eliminating the capital gains tax on for the exemptions on primary residences. It's just something that's getting looked into. And I think that, in my opinion, it's a firm stance because you look at our area and we have one of the highest retiring populations and people in primary residences. And seeing a tax on someone's primary residences would be a dramatic effect on absolutely every single person's retirement. So I think it's just something that's a resolution that we should look at passing this evening. And I do understand we do have it prepared and ready to go if council is good with it.
Everybody good? Jen?
Just a word of caution. We tried this before, I think sometime around maybe 2007, 2008, and it didn't fly. But knowing that our population, the baby boomers are getting older, that perhaps it is the right time to be spearheading this. There were a lot of municipalities that are passing this resolution, so I'm happy to see that we're doing it. But if we're doing correspondence, should we also do the support for the fire departments from Plimpton, Wyoming? Due to the fact that we don't have the fire college anymore. Doesn't have to be done today, but if we're in correspondence, I just thought we should probably touch on that.
So a resolution at the next council meeting to support that, that piece of correspondence would be all right then?
Sure. Sounds good. Everybody seems to agree. Was there anything else on correspondence now that we're into that? Anybody wanted to discuss? No. So that pretty well takes care of correspondence B. Now, Jason's still a little ways out yet, Annette. So if you want to go ahead with your report, that'd be super.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, he should be here by the time I'm done. He said about 10 minutes. So there is a report in your package. The financial information is there for the month of June. Let me know if you have any questions on that. Everything's looking pretty good compared to budget and actual and where we're at this time during the year. We did receive confirmation of our funding under phase 2 for Municipal Modernization Fund. So staff's working on all of these different things that we applied for in order to put them together. So there's a couple in your package that I added. The total amount of the funding is about $175,500. So putting together some electronic meetings, some getting all of our older bylaws and minutes scanned in, because it is something to keep the history of the townships, and that's even before amalgamation. Easily searchable online, because if we have to go down to the vault and we have to find something, or somebody's asking, you know, did this happen in a history? And if we can have all of that scanned in and do a quick word search through all of those documents, it might come up much more quickly. So it's much more efficient and saves a lot of staff time. So those are some of the efforts that we're going to put forward with this funding, as well as building permits online, some customer service stuff online. So there's quite a few different avenues that we're looking at to save some time and develop some efficiency, some fillable forms, stuff like that. So we'll see how that all plays out over the next, I think it's probably going to take a year to implement all of these different things, as well as having Brenda come in 3 days a week. I think we talked about that at budget time, to assist with our ongoing implementation of Cartograph, which would have gone much more quickly probably had COVID not happened, but we sort of got a little bit stalled in its implementation. So we do want to make the most out of that software, because we paid for it and we want to use it for all that it's worth. There's also a draft amendment to the parking bylaw. So at the last meeting, we talked about a parking issue that was brought forward on Bownshire Street. So they did, Mark and Jason did go out and made a determination of where parking should be prohibited in a certain area of that street for accessibility reasons. And so if council has no questions, or committee has no questions going forward, I will bring back that bylaw to the August 10th meeting. And once it's passed, we'll put signage up and we will be enforcing it. So we've let the residents there know as well. The pay equity report is going to come forward to council in August under closed session. At first, it will come open afterwards, but the original discussion sort of has some personal information on individuals. So we're going to have a discussion on that in closed first. Asset management plan is well underway. We've got all kinds of data that's been collected. So Brenda and JLR and staff are working hard to get that implemented, in a financial plan and levels of service and life cycle costing and all of those kinds of things, which will be incorporated into the Cartograph system. So we'll be able to track all that stuff going forward. So I'm really looking forward to that. And that's ahead of the requirement, which is July 1st, 2023. So it'll be done by the end of 2022. So I look forward to presenting that to council before the end of the year. The alternative voting methods bylaw is also attached here too. We did have a discussion on that, and council agreed to move forward with a vote by mail and paper ballots only. And so if that is still what we want to move forward with, that bylaw will come forward to the August 10th meeting as well. The County of Renfrew draft development charges policy. So that's here. They're looking for comments by September 1st. So I provided that to council to have a look at. Staff still has to meet and have a discussion on it. So we will do that and come forward with a staff recommendation on August 10th. But it gives time if council has questions or things that they want to discuss ahead of time before we put our input in on that.
I think
yes.
Jack and Jen, I'm sorry to stop you there,
Nope.
Jen, but before they lose their trains of thought, Jack
Yes.
did have
Yep.
something, and Jen definitely looks like she has something. So go ahead, Jack, and then You had your hand up.
Yeah, okay, just before, I marked it down here just to make sure, but on the voting, Annette, I read through it and it still has designations for ward and stuff that should be
Oh.
removed in there
That will be
Because-
removed. Yes, thank you.
for opening.
Did that answer your question too, Jen?
No, I blew right past it and I read it and you do it for so many years and you forget. So I'm glad Jack brought it up. No, I'm talking about the ridiculousness of this development charge draft policy that the county sent. Number one, I think it's really bad timing to be sending Bonachir Valley anything from the county at this juncture. But I think when you read through it, I think the thing that ticked me off the most was they're giving us a draft policy, but they're not giving us amounts. So are these development charges going to be nominal, like a building permit, or are they going to be thousands of dollars, which will make us non-competitive? So I think that definitely I want to wait for staff to come back with their recommendations. I do not believe that this serves our community in the best way. These monies will go straight to the county of Renfrew, even though we will be the ones to administer. I think that there are some issues with the draft. I will leave it at that for now and look forward to Annette's staff report coming forward in August. But I hope everybody took the opportunity to read all 17 pages. Again, does not make us competitive. Thanks.
Brent, you had something to add?
It was just to go off Jen's point. Is kind of I support the staff looking into it just so they can have their recommendations and council to listen. But it was kind of just ironic timing in the sense that we just did our quick facts 2021 sheet, and then we go to the second page on the back and it says business incentives. The second check mark states no development charges or planning permits in place. So it's just ironic timing that we got this. Not only did we get our nice flyer that we had made for us, but then we get the county requesting it. So it's just ironic that it's one of the incentives to move to our community that we're looking at maybe disservicing or changing. So it's just something I just found it kind of interesting look at.
Yes, Jen?
Thank you. Yes, the timing is definitely ironic. I think though, the other challenge I have with this is that we've said over and over and over again that we weren't going to have development charges, and we're not, but we're still going to be the bad guys at the county because we're the ones, or at the counter because we're the ones that have to collect the fee. So anyway, sorry. I'll look forward to Annette's report in August, as I said, but they couldn't have chosen a worse time for this.
Okay, Annette, I think we can let you finish up your report.
Thank you. Yeah, so the next part just was correspondence was sent to the county regarding the Hertz Creek Bridge following the last meeting. Was reviewed at County Council. There was not any headway made. However, we continue to raise the health and safety concerns, especially with respect to winter maintenance. And it's kind of a wait and see game now. When the bridge gets installed and when winter maintenance is underway, are our concerns going to be brought to reality? And at that point, we will be touching base with the county, as that's the only assurance that we've received, is that they will assist us with our needs at that point. So that's the only concession that they've made to date.
My question is it a little too late for all these actions to be taken after the fact that the bridge is already built? It's usually easier to do things before we start a massive project like this than to try and plan it after it's said and done. And I'm just, I'm not going to give up on it in any way, shape, or form, because I've been contacted by a lot of residents over the last few weeks, and they're very frustrated. And another thing too, that they assume that it's the township's asset, at the time. And, I'm hearing it from that end. And I have to explain to people about it being the counties, right? So I don't know, that this is a tough one. Is there, in anybody's opinion here, do you think that anything is going to change from now till the fall? Because I don't see them changing their way of doing what they've already started. Yes, go ahead, Jen.
Well, this is certainly not for a lack of trying. And when you say, it's already underway, but we had our concerns before that bridge was even removed. So, to blame the township for this, I can't think of a project except for maybe the Balaclava Bridge. When you talk about a road that I've been more involved in, I spoke very severely to this issue at County Council and was backed up by many of my colleagues. This is absolutely not the way this should have been done. Prior to this last project, if there was a project going on in Bonnechere Valley or in any municipality, at least the road super was given the heads up as to what was going to be done. I will tell you that the construction of this bridge had changed from what our asset management plan of the county said last year to this year. It is a different structure now. I was very disappointed in the defense and the misunderstandings with our staff at the county level, and in fact with some of my colleagues defending some of the actions. That being said, I just want to bring to your attention something that I reported on about Fourth Chute Bridge was that staggering it would be cost prohibitive. That's what we were told. That's what the committee was told in writing, and that's what our county council report said, that it was cost prohibitive. When we asked for those numbers, they said, oh, the bridge was too narrow to be staggered, which makes sense. You have to have barriers down the center. I totally get that. But then it turned out during the course of the county council meeting that in fact, staggering had not even been priced out. So I think that we've got a communication problem going on right now. And our public works director, I mean, if you read the paper last week, it was on the front page. She did admit that there needed to be better communication. But I think when a municipality finds a suitable change order, for lack of a better term, that our needs should be heeded. So I have now heard from approximately 30 farmers and just simply neighbors trying to use the household hazardous waste and finding it very inconvenient. Are they doing the 25-kilometer detour? Yes, they are. Do they want to do it? No, they don't. So I think that, this wasn't for lack of trying, but I am, to say I'm disappointed is an understatement. Thank you.
Thanks, Jen. No, I agree. No, it's been very frustrating for me because first off, we've tried to stop it from, proceeding, what we see as basically in the wrong direction. And it's almost like we're talking on deaf ears, and that's where it gets, you're right, very frustrating for us. And like I say, for me having to call and explain to people on the phone that, if it was an actual township issue directly, we would have solved this issue with the complaints that were brought forward by the residents. And in every way, we're trying to stop this. We're trying to stop it from proceeding as it is going, but it's almost like it's deaf ears. Like I say, they're just going ahead and it's basically steamrolling over what the municipality wants. And that is very, very frustrating on our behalf. Jack, I see you have something to add.
Yeah, the thing I have to add here is it's quite obviously the bridge is going to go ahead. It's going to be narrower. We're going to have issues when they go to plow it. They can't put the wing down because it's not going to be wide enough. So there's a potential to have snow build up and stuff on the bridge. It's going to come to a point where our road super is going to have to make a call about road safety or not, because let's be realistic. If the road becomes unsafe and we're going to wait for the county to show up whenever they show up, it's like when they come to open culverts, they show up whenever it fits into their scale. The council is going to have to make a decision. Are we going to send our manpower out to clean the bridge? Or are we going to wait for the county? If we're going to wait for the county, you're going to have to close that bridge because it's going to come to a point where potentially it could be unsafe. So and we can't put that on our road super to make that decision. It's going to have to be up to us because the road super is going to do what he's going to do is send his men out to do it. So it's up to the council to decide what they're going to do with this going forward. If there is a potential problem like they're seeing in other townships, that a road super has been notified that there's another bridge this similar in another township where they had to go and clean it 3 times, not last year, the year before, because of snow buildup. So we're going to this is going to come down the pipe. So we should make our decision ourselves, because if we close it, you got to remember currently last year, there was 3 buses taking that bridge. They go right past my house. So that's going to impact school busing as well if they have to do that loop. So this is something that we can't just put it off and say, if it happens, we'll deal with it then. We should know what we're going to do if the county doesn't come and clean it within, that's just my comments on it.
Thanks, Jack. Anything else for Annette regarding that? No. Did you have more on your report there, Annette?
I only have 2 quick updates, just letting council know that we do have an Information and Privacy Commissioner appeal. It's in the mediation stage right now, so hopefully it will be resolved in the mediation stage and will be closed shortly. The other thing is that we have not heard back. We submitted all the documents to the LPATs for the appeal. We've got confirmation that they've received all documents, but that's all that we've received on that matter, just so council's up to date on those 2 matters. And that's it, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Annette. Any other questions for Annette from council? Okay, I guess we'll bring on Jason if that's all right. Jason, are you with us?
Hello, everyone.
Hey, Jason. Good to see you.
So we'll start off with the speed sign data from Augsburg Road. We had it facing east and west. There was significant speeding in the area. The OPP has been notified, and they will be directing patrols out on that road.
How significant, Jason, were we seeing? As far as
out of 3,025 vehicles, 2,144 were above.
I know I was on my tractor coming back home from my dad's place there about a week and a half ago when you had it set up, and I'm like, I'm not doing 75 kilometers an hour with my tractor. And it was the car behind me going past. So I didn't think too much of it. Yeah.
Yes.
Go ahead, Brent.
So
I guess so. Jason, will we be more routinely putting it at Augsburg Road just to hopefully deter and continuously to track it? Is that something that we're going to be doing on a monthly basis moving forward? Do you think, or what are your thoughts?
yes, we can run it out there, put it on a 7-day rotation like we have been. And there's, we still have a few more roads that we'd like to collect some more data off of, just to, it just seems this year, I don't know, for whatever reason, there's a lot of people in a hurry. It seems like every road that we put it on, there has been, not an overabundance, but there has been a fair amount of speeders.
I know even on the Fort Chute, and I'm in a 50 as well, and you really have to look a lot of times before pulling out of my driveway here. they're picking up steam for sure. And I don't know what the answer is other than a little bit more enforcement, maybe a little bit more presence, hopefully on our roads for sure. Go ahead, Jen.
One of the questions that the writer of the concern had, would there be consideration in putting a stop sign at Klingbeil and Augsburg? So just something to keep in our minds that was a request. I'm not sure if it's possible or not, but that's a lot of speeding. And I know I now live on the Renfrew County Speedway here. It's like a racetrack in front of my house. So I agree with you, Jay. I think they're speeding everywhere. But just something for council to keep in the back of our minds when we get when we got more data, I suppose. Thanks.
Number two, we have completed all our gravel on our gravel roads. The gentlemen, the guys have been just out, touching them up, getting them prepped. So we're all good to go on that end. Manning Road has been prepped and is scheduled for resurfacing in mid-August. Right now we are replacing culverts on Augsburg Road, and we will be doing some smaller cuts this week yet to get prepared for our rest of our gravel to be put on there after we mill everything up. Number five, we've had complaints after all the heavy rain of the water level on Lake Clear. Some residents had some concerns. We've been downstream and found a dam where it was last year. It just wasn't as significant. It was only about 2 feet high compared to 5 or 6 last year. So hopefully with if the rain slows down a little bit, hopefully things will drop there on the level.
Yes, Jen.
Jason, so this was an actual dam. It wasn't in a culvert? Because if it was in a culvert, I assume that would be a county responsibility.
No, it wasn't in a culvert, Jen. It was down where actually the creek narrows up. It's probably about 50 feet across, but the beavers had it jammed up.
Yeah, Jason, that dam you're talking about is below the hydro dam though, right? Below Heideman's?
Yes.
It's not above that. Yeah, because they still have a significant issue. Because right now, as of Monday's levels that I received, there's a difference of the level at Lake Clear is 230.85 and the level at the dam is 230.31. So you're talking, there's still a 50 centimeter delta. So there's obviously some obstruction above the dam, between the dam and Lake Clear. So now is that representative of the shoal problem in between the lakes, or is there another dam that's in between there? Like, did you guys go above the hydro dam, or did you just check the roads and the dam?
No, actually, sorry, Jack. Sorry, Jack. It's in behind the pinery, right at where it was cut off at Whitkey Road. So it's above the dam. Sorry.
Oh, it's above the dam?
Yes.
Okay. But
yes.
When did you open that?
It would have been early last week.
Yeah. Because as of Monday, they were still looking at a 50 centimeter, over 50 centimeter delta. So realistically, the dam's probably dammed back up again, or there's other obstructions further up. So
yeah, no, the only thing is from where the dam is down, it's a very coarse base in the bottom of the creek, and if you don't have significant flows, like I'm talking, probably a couple feet. The only way of checking that would be possibly with the drone.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah, it's just
real
like
rough.
Lake Clear. Yeah, Lake Clear is pretty well right close to the limits right now, and if that erosion continues to increase, it's going to be, we're going to continue to receive calls like I received from landowners on Lake Clear. So I don't know. I don't know if that's a lot of work for you to be taken under your job, because you have a lot of other jobs to do. So I don't know. I really don't know what BBT wants to do when it comes to, because that's really RPG's responsibility, I would think, the creeks. But
Well, I
that's
did have
something that
sorry, Jack.
Go ahead, Jason. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I was talking to RPG and they said they would work with us, but not to open up dams. They feel that, if they open up a dam and it goes downstream and does damage to someone else's property, that that's what direction they've been told not to do.
Then I guess council has to give some direction to Jason how much manpower he wants to put on that. Because if it's dealing with beavers, it's going to be a continuous thing. You're going to have to try and open, I guess.
Second, and that is my volume.
You're gonna have to go to the, Tim, you're gonna have to go to the waiting room.
Everybody okay now?
Yep.
Okay, thanks. I was kind of letting Jack and Jason go on. Thanks for the information prior to that, Annette, giving me the heads up on the muffled voice. I seen firsthand what happened, say about 2 weeks ago in Rockingham. What happened when the dam about 2 kilometers upstream let go, and it almost wiped out the county road and the road that connects right at the bottom of the corner in Rockingham itself. It almost took out both roads with the dam bursting. So if we can do somewhat of a controlled release and get this thing going before Mother Nature and one of these god awful torrential downpours do it for us, we might be protecting a lot of our assets that way. So Jack's absolutely right. It would be nice to see some other help from, if it's an RPG issue. And we kind of hate to put a lot of more extra stuff on your plate, Jason, but I agree with Jack. We definitely have to get that problem solved before it takes out any of our assets, because it can do it very quick. And, then it's the safety on whoever's on the opposite side of that washout. And I've seen, from other fellow truckers driving along and hit a washout in the middle of the night and get seriously killed or injured or killed. So definitely something we have to take serious for sure. Murph?
Can we get someone to trap those beaver?
Yes. Yes, we can, Merv.
Reduce the population as much as you can. They're going to come back. But
Yes, and it's a big body of water in there also that, because it is so flat that it holds a lot of water.
Mhm.
So any other suggestions to help Jason out there on this?
Yeah.
Okay,
I guess you fight with the beavers.
if it's up 50 centimeters, so that sounds like it's a lot of water it's holding back so far. That's the scary part.
Yeah, and that was the thing too, right? We spent probably a good 2.5 hours, and we only got like maybe a third of it opened up, because we didn't want to let too much go, right? Because you don't know what else is downstream, right?
And what's your accessibility to where it's dammed or where it is? What's your mode of getting to it? Do you have to just physically walk in? Is it close to a road? Is it, how far up is it there, Jason?
It's probably about 1.5 kilometers walk in.
Hmm.
And everything has to be done by hand, because the way the shoreline is, it's all big boulders and it's hard to get to.
That was my concern, because if it was in the reach of equipment, it's a little different story, but obviously if it's in that type of terrain, you're not getting anything into it.
No. No, that's right. All right.
Thanks.
No, now, number 6, we have ordered our crosswalk signs for BMO and the pharmacy for the courtesy crosswalk. And the courtesy crossing only pedestrians yield to traffic will be posted on the posts also. So that will help everyone out, you know, pedestrians plus the motorists at the crosswalk.
It's a great way of clarifying to anybody that's uncertain, right? That's perfect. Thanks, Jason.
Yes. There was one addition that we wanted to add in on this is the 1-ton truck tender actually came in last Friday. So I would like council's approval.
Prices are very close.
Yes, they are, Merv. They are. So I would like council to approve Mac McKenzie Motors getting the tender, please.
Jennifer, did you have something to say?
I have a resolution for tonight for that. Thanks.
Okay. Anything else for Jason? Oh, well, good luck with the dam there, Jason. And everything
All right,
else.
everyone.
Sure.
Can't
All
get
right,
your
now
hands
I'll
on dynamite, can you?
What was that, Merv?
So you can't get your hands on a little dynamite, can you?
No, I'm sorry.
Beaver sticks fly.
Yes, that would be nice, but we can't do that kind of stuff.
Okay, well, thanks very much, Jason. We'll see you next month, I take it.
All right, everyone, take care.
Take care.
Bye.
Have a good one.
See you, bye.
Now we have Dave. Are you there, Dave?
I'm here. I don't have my camera on because I'm on my cell and the cell service is a little sketchy here. So
Okay. I'll, if anybody has can you see us though, Dave?
Yep.
Oh, okay. So if we have to stop for a question, we can get that to you. Okay,
Yep.
Thanks, Dave.
okay, I think before I go on to my report, I have a couple of things I wanna say.
Okay.
Number one, I'm very disappointed with the tactics that were used the last time we met. I think that the quote in the Eganville Leader saying blindsided was accurate. I was called to the meeting, a council meeting that I don't normally go to, asked to prepare a report about a potential grow off up at Floymount, which I fully did. And then that never came up. That was on the agenda. What came up were allegations leveled towards our fire department. And I think it was extremely unfair that happened to do that to us. Your department, just so everybody knows, your department is comprised of men and women who are very dedicated and hardworking. Right? They sacrifice a lot for this department, and I think that in the service of this municipality, council needs to praise them once in a while and not undermine them like it happened. I was completely shocked by the time that was all over, and I've been doing this for 20 years, and I've never ever seen that happen to somebody in a public forum. It's one thing in a private meeting if you have something to say, but in a public forum, without all the information that was required to make a judgment, the judgment was made. And I think that I'm not very happy about it. I don't think anybody at the council table would be happy if that happened to them. I would never do that professionally to anybody or personally to anybody. And the fact that it happened to me, without my chance to prepare for it, I don't think it was right. And I just want that on the record. Another thing, outcomes, fire department outcomes. We would all wish that all of our outcomes were favorable for everybody involved. That doesn't always happen. We work, we use the tools we have, we use the training we have, the technology we have, and it always doesn't work out. As much as a firefighter in his or her heart would like it to work out, and this could be for anything. But you know, we deal with we walk around with the baggage of outcomes that don't go in our favor, and you know, just for this to be a personal issue and to this all to come to light, kind of hurt that it was coming from this I thought we were better than this as a municipality, and it's very upsetting that it happened. And you know, I hope it doesn't happen again. I hope, you know, we all have the decency to pick up the phone and ask a question, or meet for a coffee and ask a question, instead of you know, doing what happened. Disparagement in the public without all the info certainly was not the way to go. And anyway, I hope you know, hope things are better moving forward. Like this department has come so far in the last 6 years. We've upgraded, we've improved, our training is 100% better than it used to be. Our technology we're building, all on a very, very little budget. We're actually making things happen, and we have an outstanding group of people that work for us. And I just think that they need to be recognized for the hard work and the sacrifice that they do. You know, the sacrifice that they make. You know, so anyway, that's all I have for statement. I need to get that off my chest. It's been 2 weeks of you know, not really feeling well about this, and you know, I hope the package information that I gave council kind of opened their eyes to the rules and regulations, our operational guidelines, all that kind of stuff with regards to the our pass program. In the last 6 months, in the last year, I've actually talked about the drone program 6 times. I went back through my council reports. So for people to say that they don't really know what's going on with it, I don't think that was fair, especially considering we did a presentation and a demonstration at the fire hall for all of council, and everybody was asking questions. So, you know, to say that, you know, we don't know what's going on with this, that wasn't fair either to me. You know, and you know, I made a point of checking, and we did talk about it numerous times. Like I said, half a dozen times it came up. So that's something else that, you know, when I come to council and I have, you know, large packages and I never get asked any questions, I just assume that, you know, everybody's up to speed. They know what I'm talking about. And then this happens, and it's like, well, I've talked about it, right? So anyway, just a fair playing field would be much appreciated moving forward, and open lines of communication would be appreciated as well. I'm just, you know, that this was hard on me, and it was hard on my department, and it's your department too. It's not my department, it's the township's department, and it's the township. People from the township are on this department. Like they're all ratepayers and citizens of this township, and I think it was unfair, not only to me, but to them as well, because they all watched the video. So, you know, without beating a dead horse, I'll leave it at that, but I just want you guys to know, you know, how I feel about that whole situation.
Any questions from council on Dave's statement? Anything to add? No, seeing none. Go ahead there, Dave.
Okay, so I did, going down the list here, the reason I put the E&R bylaw in, because we referenced that in our operational guidelines. So our deployment protocol is based on our our E&R bylaw. So our scope of service. We assist police, and if you read the drone deployment report that Captain Martin was kind enough to give us that day, we did everything that was within the scope of our service in the municipality. I don't see that the guys could have done any more based on feedback from that and verbal feedback. I also included, just you guys know that the regulations, the Canadian Aviation Act and the Part 9 and the standards 921, 922 are all things that we have to, you know, for fear of the municipality being fined, we have to follow all of those standards as far as flight goes. which includes flight safety, which includes operator capability, line of sight stuff, inclement weather, all that kind of stuff. So it is heavily regulated because it is a size of drone. It's a commercial drone. So that, and then of course I did the user's manual. I couldn't take out, I couldn't extract the chapter pertaining to flight. So I had to do, must be proprietary. So I had to send you the whole user manual just to put an emphasis on flight conditions and when we're supposed to fly as far as weather goes. So that's, all of that is for your information. Just to give you an idea that this isn't a toy and we don't treat it as such. We follow our own internal rules, and we follow the government's rules, the federal government's rules when it comes to deployment. So it's a very, very serious operation, a very serious thing to be involved in, and we take it seriously. I don't have anybody that doesn't, that has a drone pilot license. So I'd like to move on to the incident at 30 Bell Street. That was something that was a bone of contention. Councillor Board Member Patrick brought that up at council meeting. I don't see him there. Is he there today?
Yep, I'm here,
Right
Dave.
there? Oh, you're there? Okay. So I got the reports from both of the senior officers that were there. There was no indication from them or their reports or from them personally that there was any issue with the staff there. Their big thing was, and I think part of the problem is that we're getting complacent at that address because of so many fire calls, so many false alarms there, that the staff was actually directing people that live there to stay in their rooms and not evacuate. So I'll be going there once, in the next little while to do an inspection and get caught up with the administrator there. But we can't have staff telling people not to evacuate. That's complacency. And when we have a fire, people are just going to ignore the fire alarm. And we've been there many, many times, and far too many times as far as I'm concerned, for false alarms. And that was one thing that they tried to explain to people, that you can't do that. You have to follow fire drill or alarm protocol. You have to leave the building until we test out everything is okay. That was really the only thing that was really of any kind of discussion. Our fire prevention officer said that you were there as the board member basically the whole time when he was there, when he was inside. So we were trying to figure out, like, between the two of them, couldn't figure out where this poor treatment apparently came from. And so that's where I stand with that. Like I said, these guys have been there a lot, and we have working relationships with the people that work there. So they were trying to figure out where that was coming from as well. So that's all I have on that. We don't, like you said, we don't throw on the suits and become bullies. Like, we take this job very seriously, and we are professional part-time firefighters, right? We train, and we're equipped just like anybody that's a full-time department, right? So, that, to say something like that as well is not something that's germane to, it's not going to make people feel good as well, right? Because we're much more than we're doing that, right? So I still don't know. If you want to meet, I'm more than happy to meet at a later date with the people that apparently said that, with you and with our guys, and we can get to the bottom of what happened.
Yeah, no, that's no problem, Dave. And as I said at the last meeting, when numerous people in our community bring it up to me pertaining to that incident, then as the counselor, I think it's something that we should look into. And I think that's 100%. I think any inspection in a facility like that would be definitely welcomed by the fire department, anyways, to look into.
Yeah, it has to be anyway. The facility has no choice, so we'll be doing that shortly. But my big takeaway was that the fire prevention officer saying that you were there basically the whole time he was there in the same room. And he didn't know of any conversation that was the way that it was reported.
Yes, and I
So-
wasn't in the as like when I was there at present as a board member, because I'm the second person that's called for any incident to do with that facility. So
Yeah.
as a board member, that I wasn't involved in interactions, and that's why it was reported to me afterwards. So that I wasn't around in my relations. Like, so I was with the fire department on multiple times throughout that evening, as I have been in the past, same as November and previously. But that's why it's brought forward to me at a later meeting, and they asked me as the counselor to look into it, just because obviously. But for example, after the last incident, I had followed up with the manager there to see if she had see how it went and stuff, and she was very positive to your staff and thanked your staff for coming and had no concerns, because I did follow up with her, because anything in the community, be it a board member or be it as a counselor, you want to look into it. And no, definitely we appreciate your staff in coming out, and that's why I know from speaking with the manager of the facility that they're looking at updating the entire system, because obviously the building's 15 years old, right? So it's like anything, and that's why they've always done inspections throughout. But no, so that's something that I think can be worked on throughout the next while, anyways.
So your manager did contact me as well, and so I was obviously, I met you at that call. This was after your council meeting. The guys behaved no differently than my people. Don't change behavior because I'm not there. So they behave the same way that they always behave. People are people, and so I found that the staff at the facility was fine. There didn't seem to be any uncomfortableness, or even the manager was great. And but I would request, especially seeing as that you have the secondary role as a board member, to, if there's a problem, the phone is very close, right? And to address this in a public way, as opposed to picking up the phone and calling me and asking me about it, to look into it, as a counselor, that would have been the most appropriate way to do that. And I know it's water under the bridge now, but that's just how I feel about handling things.
Yeah, no,
Right?
and
I don't like airing laundry, and that happened.
No,
whether it be
and
true or not.
no, and as I said before, we appreciate your fire department, and I don't think that there should be negative orientation taken from the last meeting. I've always removed my feelings out of it and just asked simple questions, and I would have respected if at the previous meeting, if you didn't have, say, answers or felt comfortable with the answers, then I would have definitely accepted if you had brought back a report to the next meeting. And I have no problem with that. But yeah, that's no problem, Dave. But that's no problem. I have your cell phone, so we can get in touch on a later date.
Absolutely. I didn't bring anything up because I knew, the agenda I was there for was not happening, and that's why I just let it roll. Right. I wasn't gonna stop anything because I wanted to see what was gonna come out of it. And to me it wasn't good, and I'd prefer not to work like that. If like I said, if we can do things personally, not personally, but township wise, not everything has to be in a public forum, and especially that kind of commentary.
Well, I've never. I guess I've never looked at it as it's more on the orientation of it. So really, it's like anything is just asking questions, and I never meant to put a negative aspect on it. As I said, I've reviewed the video before as well, and but no, I think it's, as we said, it's water on the bridge, anyways. But I did have a question per your report that you provided earlier, Dave. And one of them, I guess, would be like, so the drone program's new. So what are the next steps within our drone program? Like, so is it going to be something similar to like how we have an extraction agreement with other municipalities? Is it a service that we're thinking of providing to other municipalities? Like, since we're the only ones, my understanding, outside the county that has a drone, what are the next steps you're thinking of taking this department? And if you're able to answer that today, that's good. If not, you can bring a report on another day.
Yeah, I can give you a quick one. Our lead drone guy that facilitated in the purchase and whatnot and licensing and all that, he is actually looking to have us approved for non-line, like out of sight, so non-line of sight only. That's something he's investigating with the township, or with the federal government, so that possibly down the road we can fly it and not necessarily have to see it. So that expands our range, right? Legally expands our range to be able to fly it further, right? That's something there's an iron in the fire with that right now.
Yeah, and that was actually going to be my second question. Is going to be is there any modifications or upgrades that we have to do the drone? Because currently, for example, like it can't be worked in water or anything like that. So I guess my question would be is there any modifications that we can do to the drone that will say help it to be able to operate outside line of sight and also in inclement weather?
Yeah, there is a waterproof kit that can be purchased for it. And keep in mind that flying in the rain severely diminishes battery power because the propellers are fighting against the raindrops. So it eats battery, especially at night. It'll eat battery very, very quickly using whether radar or a spotlight and say infrared, and and it raining, your battery life is diminished severely. But that's all things that we've been discussing. Now that we're getting people kind of up and running and used to it and got the processes in place, now we'll look down the road, and like I said, we're already starting to investigate. Flying. It's a special flight permission to be able to do it out of sight as opposed to in line of sight.
Oh, go ahead, Jen.
Yeah, I want to caution that our paramedic service is allowed to fly out of sight, but it did take them, I think, somewhere in the neighborhood of 1.5 to 2 years to get that designation. And in that time frame, they actually upgraded the paramedic drone twice through a company in Germany that was sort of swapping them out. We were sort of guinea pigs, I guess, our paramedic service. So I don't want people to think that this may happen overnight. It might be faster than that time frame, but it does take some time to get that designation.
Go ahead there, man. Brent.
Why is that? And like, especially we had Jason's report before, and they had to walk 1.5 kilometers to just get to the destination to see what is going on with the flooding up towards Lake Clear. So the thing is we're like a river fed municipality, and especially we've seen like the flood, like flooding throughout everything. So the thing is, if we can use our drones for other operations and support, and especially if we have more capacity and more capabilities, then I think that's a positive. And if we have the technology, then we might as well go all in. And that's why I asked that, Dave, was just to see what the next steps are for it.
And we have helped Jason prior when we were looking at the silt in the Little Lake Clear. We had the drone out and helped him for that. And all it is a phone call, and somebody will be there. And he knows that. Maybe I don't know why that we weren't asked to help out with that, but he knows that it's just a phone call away.
Okay, anything else on that, Council?
Oh, and so my last one was the Foy Mountain Silver Lake Road. Now, I think Captain Martin's drone deployment report, captured that accurately, and I had other people that were at scene read it as well, and it's an accurate description as to what happened there, and what our interaction with police, what they had in the plan they had in works with regards to K9, and I don't think there's anything more that can be said about that. That's what happened that night, and the like I said before, outcomes are always not in our control. And, you know, the comment that was made twice at the end of our last committee or council meeting was that I just don't want to see this happen to anybody else. Well, what? Like, we did everything that we could humanly do to assist the police in that. We can't control what people do, and it's unfortunate that that happened, but we're limited to, you know, our equipment, our training, outside agencies that take over. We're limited, you know, and the guys did the best job that they could absolutely do, given the evening and given, you know, the circumstances and the police being in charge of the scene, right? So I don't know, Tim, if there's anything else that you have to say about that, or if there's something else that, you know, you have a
Dave,
concern about.
Yeah, I was going to add a closed session, I think the last meeting. Are you able to, we have some closed sessions on this evening. Is that okay with, you have like 5 minutes for a closed session this evening? Is that okay to, if I add it to it, Dave?
Yeah, we can. Just, you gotta let me know when, so I can make sure that I can dial back in. But I don't know, like,
slated for.
I don't know what, like, as far as Tim, like the like, I don't know what else can be said about it. Like,
No,
I don't know.
and it's just to address. Anyway, I would much rather say it enclosed, and we would go from there if that's okay. It'll only be a 5-minute thing, and it's nothing that anybody's going to get fired up over or anything like that. But it should be done enclosed.
So our closed session this evening would be probably at about 5:40.
Okay.
Because I didn't add it at the start of the meeting, that's why I figured we do have one coming. Otherwise, I would have did it at the end of this one. So
We need to know what the closed session is for.
it's an identifiable individual.
Then Dave, I guess my last question was just about the drone. So that with the drone, so if we get more certification, so we do have our line of sight, like out of line of sight and things of that nature, and especially if we say upgrade it and put the waterproof kit on it, then will that make like our fire department more of an asset if we're on with an OPP scene or with other municipalities? Do you think that will be like we're going to be able to get utilized more in situations, or do they have their own drone systems in our area of like a plethora amount? It was just a curious question. That's all.
Yeah, OPP doesn't have a drone close by, so that's why you hear a lot. You know, the medics will have their drone up at certain incidents where someone's in the bush or whatnot initially. But they don't have a drone close by, so that's why they accepted the offer that night. To help out. Yeah, so if we can upgrade and obviously the more you upgrade, the more capability you have. So that will be something going forward. We can ensure that our all of our operators are used to doing that kind of like I'm sure everybody tinkers around a little bit, but officially you can't go out of line of sight. So with the camera systems and all that kind of stuff, it's not really any more difficult to fly that drone than it is when you actually see it, right? Because it's pretty high tech as far as the camera system on it. So I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal to upgrade to increase our capabilities with it. It's just a matter of getting it, having everybody trained, comfortable to use it, and then being able to offer it if need be. But you're not going to offer it, I don't think, in a kind of a monetary situation. It's more of a help situation, which any one of our pilots would be more than willing to do that.
Okay. Anything else for Dave? No, thanks, Dave.
Thank
Let's
you.
see you at 5:40 if you can make it there, Dave. I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
You bet. Okay.
Oh, go ahead there, Jen.
5 minutes.
Sure, we can have 5 minutes.
I'm gonna blow my nose again.
So you have some allergies or something going on. there.
Really bad. It's really, really, really bad.
You want to take us to break for 5 minutes there, Annette?
How are you doing, Merv?
Oh, we're still alive.
Still, that's a good thing.
Yeah, still on the right side
I'll
of the
take
stop.
that. I'll take that any day.
Yep.
Like the photo, Kevin.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah.
What brought that down?
Fatigue. Just old. Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry about that, Tim. My allergies are just, they're so bad right now.
I seen that. This is a little early for ragweed, isn't it?
I don't know what it is. I could hardly sleep last night. I kept sneezing.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's about 2 or 3 weeks early for ragweed, Tim, especially with it being so damp. Ragweed's normally mid-August. almost.
Yeah, I know Trina really takes hard on ragweed there. She's sneezing all the time. I didn't see any outside, so.
Got this purple flower that's blooming all over the place. And it seems to, my eyes are itchy and I can't stop sneezing.
Did we have anything else in correspondence to discuss?
I think you covered it.
I think we got it all out of the way, eh?
Yeah, I think we're just down to Kevin and then date for fireworks.
Kevin, does that have to go to Hydro One? Could no electrician fix that pole?
What was that, Jack?
That pole, cannot an electrician fix that?
Well-
Doesn't it just feed off the Hydro One pole, right? With an interlock switch in a box?
There's a switch on that, and the lights are also on that too for the tennis courts inside the
Yeah,
box.
But can't an electrician fix that? You really don't have to involve Hydro One. What are you getting Hydro One to put a pole in? Is that what you're doing? Or?
No, I called Hydro One to shut the power off because the meter was lying practically on the ground.
Oh, okay.
So I called in to shut the power off, and then I called Chad just to come and take a look to see what work was entailed. So what we're going to do is we're going to put 6x6 in and just fasten the panel back on that. And then
So the meter, meter's on that pole too, is it?
That's correct. Yeah. There's the meter, there's an outside receptacle, and plus the panel box.
Okay, because I didn't get, I must have missed that one. I just saw the panel box and a wire running from the other hydro pole.
Yeah,
So
there's
the meters inside. The box,
the
outside
meters
the
on the
box.
far side. There's 2 runs of conduit, one you can see and one you can't see.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, if it affected the meter, then Hydro One has to be involved.
Yeah.
Sure.
On a pole, Kevin,
Pardon me?
do you want a pole?
The thing with that pole, I guess with the old structure there previously with the old grandstand was there, I don't know, but the pole's been cut off, so it's rotten. We're gonna have to hand dig it because there's two runs of conduit around it. So yeah, I don't know. I think it maybe, I don't know, pole or 6x6. I'm not sure what would be the best.
Lots of poles across the road from me now.
Yeah. The panel, it's quite heavy. We're probably going to need the backhoe just to hold it so we can get it in place. Maybe.
Are we back live on YouTube there, Annette?
We are for the long-awaited recreation report. Or we even lost Kevin. Oh, no, he's there. I see him.
Kevin is here. Good to see you again, Kevin.
Yeah, you too, Tim. Everybody else,
Take it away.
take it away. Okay, I just sent a picture there of the hydro pole that was up at the Legion Field. Just fatigue, an old pole. So anyways, make a long story short, we went up there this morning and it was on the ground. So I called hydro because the meter was down on the ground. So anyways, they've disconnected the power, and I got a hold of Chad Parker just to see what our end was going to be. So anyways, we're going to take the pole out, and it'll be hand dig because there's conduit going each way of that pole. So anyways, hopefully we'll get that fixed up tomorrow, and then just call hydro to come back and do a hookup. There's no power to it now, just in case you do get a call, and it's taped off and everything. So it's anyways, that's that for the arena. The paramedics been using the lobby back and forth for vaccinations and that, so that's been going well. Minor hockey, we've had one meeting just to get the season, see where we're going, and we're not sure yet, along with everybody else. We're hopefully going in the right direction. Lending hub is open. We've had a few calls. There's no units that went out as of yet, but still inquiries. Anyways, there'll be an ad going in the paper at the end of the month for rec assistant. Centennial Park, there's general maintenance is going on, grass cutting. Up at the Legion Field, Little League ball is playing some balls, so the ball diamond is getting used. Just confirmed with Opeonga High School, the soccer field is getting used. We're going to have at least 2 to 3 nights a week of soccer, and that's just got confirmed. So anyways, they brought some nets in and they're lining the field. So there's going to be some activity up there, which is good to see, and we're moving forward. You probably saw the beaver tails. They made a donation to the food bank. I think that was it would have been a better weekend, I think, if weather permitted, and had we had we had better weather, we would have the fireworks. Simple as that. So anyways. Foymouth Park, there was a request for a park bench, so we took one up there. So got a response saying thank you. Same at Opeonga Park, we put a basketball net up there. So it's just little stuff that we can do, and we can help them out in any shape or form in this time for the kids. Same thing, picnic table at Cormac Park. We took one up there, and I think you'd mentioned, Tim, about some prices on the garbage can containers. So yeah. I picked up a few, and a couple of them that we looked at is if we put too big of a unit up there, it'll be full all the time, and if you don't have it small enough, the rodents can get in, and then you'll have a big mess. So what we looked at there, they're not giving them away by no means, as you may see. So anyways, that's just some prices we can look at, put it in the budget maybe down the road, or rethink it a little bit and see what everybody's thought is on that.
Yeah. Now, what's your if we do wait till budget with that, Kevin? What's your thoughts on just a regular type of garbage can there? Is there any? Our caretaker, does he look after that end of it, or would we have to send someone special out to do that? Is my question on the way to Foymount or on the lad who looks after the Cormac Park and that as well.
Yeah, that'd be. We could inquire about that. The only. I'd have to see. It shouldn't be a problem, but it'd be a question we'd have to ask him for sure.
Because the only reason why the bear-proof one is to keep the mess from basically getting scattered all over the park if it was a long time in between gathering of the garbage. You understand? Right. That's basically the reason why I suggested that. Mm-hmm. It was just so nothing could get into it and make a mess, right?
Right.
we don't like to see that all over if there's stuff in from a food truck or whatever. But if it's gathered on a regular basis, I don't
Yeah.
see how that would be an issue. Jen, you had something to say?
Yeah, I want to ask a really stupid wildlife question. Would a raccoon-proof garbage can work? Because I know in the city of Toronto, virtually everybody has a raccoon-proof one, and they aren't, $2,100 or whatever else your quotes were. But if that wouldn't work, then do we have any of those gray bins that have recycling and garbage? Are there any extras hanging around the municipality? Because certainly, I mean, they're sturdy, right?
Right. I'd have to look, Jen. I don't know. I know we put a new one at the tourism booth because the other one the bottom was all rust out. I'd have to take a look on that first to see if we do. I'm not sure.
And like I say, that was my only reason for, like the bear proof or whatever it would be. And I didn't realize there was a raccoon proof one. Being a rural individual, I wouldn't know that stuff, right? Well, I know there's raccoons around, but we have to store our stuff all the time against them. I didn't know there was such a thing as a raccoon proof garbage can, so I've never used one.
I know that when you're talking raccoons, I know the one down at McCrae Park, if that gets full, the little guys get in and get that stuff out. So
Yeah. And that's all I want to avoid is a bigger
oh no,
mess.
yeah, absolutely.
Bigger
With
mess.
damn opposable thumbs.
Mm.
And rotary, like just general maintenance on everything else. I did have just on discussion there was the fireworks for August long weekend. I guess that's going to materialize as time goes on for what the plans are, kind of deal. So I guess that can be a further discussion.
If I may, now that the Creamery parking lot is kind of off limits, I'm just wondering if maybe we should touch base with Jason and ask for the bridge to be closed down if they're going to do them on the Saturday night or whatever, just to give people an extra place to go that's safe.
So when are we doing fireworks? Because I seen a Facebook post by the township of Bonaire Valley that they were already scheduled, but I didn't know that they were. So is it open for discussion or what's?
We talked about it being July 1st with the rain date July 2nd. Unfortunately, we couldn't get the firefighters for the 2nd because, of course, they're volunteers, so they work. So we moved it to Saturday the 3rd, and then we said if we couldn't have it on the Canada Day weekend because of weather, we would move it to August long. That was the original discussion with council. So we haven't officially picked that date, but that was sort of the discussion that if we couldn't have it, which we at the time we were saying if we couldn't have it for Canada Day because of COVID, we would move it to the August long instead. But of course, COVID turned out that was okay. We could move ahead under those circumstances. So I thought maybe council would want to stick with that plan. But seeing as we're having the discussion later on at today's meeting, if there's another date for sure that council would like, we can definitely have that discussion and I can put it forward to the fire department and see who's available.
Go ahead there, Jen.
I'm just looking at my calendar. What might be nice. What are the dates of the Tokyo Olympics? Because we have two, it's unstable again. So it's Friday, July 23rd to Sunday, August the 8th. So that actually goes over the Labor Day long weekend. But we have not one, but two Olympians running in the 800 meter, our own Melissa Bishop and Maddie Kelly from Pembroke. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Joe Moore told me that one of their qualifiers was on the Saturday, July 24th. But maybe it'd be nice to wait until the Labor Day weekend when we're sort of at the end of the Olympics. I don't know. I'm just trying to get dates up here now.
Also, and I don't know what our storage life expectancy is. One thing I noticed, I was up at Killaloo for July 1st. They had their fireworks going off in 3 different spots in the municipality at the same time. They were at the public school, I believe, and at the Catholic school, and then over at Round Lake. I'm just wondering, because there was so much lack of being able to get out the fireworks for the last year, with the exception of Bonachar Valley, is there a possibility of keeping them till next Canada Day and setting them off in different areas of our municipality? Is that an option? Because say out at Lake Clear or and out at Golden Lake, and rather than just all at Eganville at a time, because I've seen other municipalities that did it simultaneously throughout their whole municipality.
I think when we discussed it in the CECG meeting when we were talking about it again for COVID, the report at that time from the fire department was that they only last 3 months. So we would have to set them off. We bought them at the end of May, so I think we'd have to set them off no later than September. Are you thinking of having splitting them and doing 2 fireworks shows, one on the August long and one on the September long on different sections of the township? Is that what you want me to take forward to the fire department?
I was kind of hoping that it would be on Canada Day, but
they won't last till, my understanding
no,
is they
I
won't
didn't
last
know
till
if they
then.
were stored in a dry location, because I bought a box of fireworks last weekend for Jenna's birthday party, and there were dates on them from 2016, and they went off pretty good. So I didn't realize that they had such a short.
I can double check.
Because I thought they had the same kind of stuff in them as gunpowder, and I've seen that at gun shows that's 30 years old if it's kept in nice dry locations. As long as it doesn't stink, you're doing okay. Anybody else at council wants to say something? Jen, you had your hand up.
So first of all, these are professional fireworks, and they're not the most stable, I'm sure, but they did find a storage that they were able to store from Canada Day long weekend until mid-August or early September. The only challenge I would see is that I don't think that we could do them simultaneously because we don't have the manpower. So Killaloo actually hires a company that comes in and does them. The fire department is there for suppression and, of course, if anything ever went wrong. But certainly when you hire a company, they can go all over the place. When we're relying on our fire department and a couple of guys that are licensed, or a few guys that are licensed, that could create a challenge. But I mean, splitting them up, it's just a matter.
Could we get a quote from that company that sets them off and see how much they would charge to aid in the fireworks display, if that were the case? Is that possible? I'm just asking. Does anybody else on council have any thoughts?
We don't have a budget for it.
No. Okay. I don't know. Well, so you're answering questions as we're going, right? Because I didn't realize that they couldn't be stored for more than 3 months. And if they were, well, then that kind of squishes this idea, right? That this is what I'm getting at. In the future,
I'll double check.
Forward.
That's what was reported at the CECG meeting, but I can double check.
I see Brenton and Murph.
I guess my question is could the fireworks, so because there's no dinner on the bridge this year, obviously, so could the fireworks not be set off at Legion Field? Is there be a lot more sitting room up there? Or like I guess that's just a question, like has it always been done along Water Street, or just because there isn't I just wasn't sure, is it because it's along the river and it's just safer for fireworks, or can we send it off from the middle of a ball diamond? I'm just not sure. There's a fire hydrant there, so.
Can I answer that? Answer that quickly. That would mean digging holes about 6 feet deep into our ball field. I don't think Kevin would appreciate that. I think, they're safer over the river, but it's also a piece of land that isn't really used, like it's on a beach or a park or anything else, I think Kevin would be pretty upset with what the fire department might do to their ball field.
Well, I just wasn't sure because we add gravel to that edge, so I think that's why I asked, just because we're talking about logistics of people viewing it. So I think Legion Field would probably provide the most people to be able to see it at a safe area. But I'm fine us having it in the July long or August long weekend, I guess we call it, but I think that's the end of July, just because I think some people already believe that we're doing it that weekend. So I think we should just keep that consistent.
Okay, Merv?
No, I was just saying, when we're talking about putting them off at different sites, I think we only have one detonation device. And if you're going to do 3 different sites, you're going to have 3 detonation devices.
Okay. Jack?
Yeah, I guess the thing is, it's a question to verify of how long they're good for. If they're 3 months, then basically we're regulated to do it either August or October, right? Could do, because October is Labor Day weekend, or August
September.
1st is the civic. Oh, yeah, September. I mean, yeah, September is Labor Day, and August is the civic holiday. So whichever way you want to do it, it's just probably more people have the Labor Day weekend off. That's all. But if you're going to do it on Saturday, it doesn't matter.
The thing is, with the civic long weekend, if they had, I know some of the companies, if they had family day off, they don't get the one off in August. So they kind of, I don't know if that's still a thing anymore. So I know it wasn't, not everybody gets the August long weekend off in Ontario. That's the other issue I had with it. Everybody stopped now.
That is true. It's a provincial holiday, but if you work for the federal government, you don't get it off because it's not a federal holiday. Same with the one in February. They're provincial holidays. So the only the federal ones are the July 1st, the May long weekend, and the September long weekend, and Easter, of course. So you're quite right. There may be some people that don't have the Monday off, but they may still have the Saturday off if that's the date that council chooses.
So where do we go from here?
So did we decide on a date and a place? If I could get a date and a place, I'll get back to the fire department. No, we didn't decide on either of those things.
I'll be brave. Saturday, the 31st of July.
Okay.
What do I bid for? What do you want to bid for?
Well, I think we already said that was the date previously back in our earlier meeting. So we should just not change it again, just keep it consistent. And that's what it is, because I believe last time people drove from Pembroke to come and see it. So we just want to keep it as consistent as we can.
Absolutely. And if we already have it out in the media, I agree with you there on that, Brent. I did see quite a few people in Eganville on July 1st lined up and on both sides to see the fireworks show that didn't go. So if we can get out a message, and hopefully that it does carry on. Yeah. Go ahead, Jack.
Yeah, Saturday's fine with me. Doesn't matter. July 31st, if that's the date. Sounds good.
There, July 31st.
And the
Then
location?
COVID will probably relax enough they can get out of their cars.
That's the hope. And the location? Sorry. Anybody for a location?
Well, I think it's just in the same spot as where they have the gravel. So, and then are we going to request to close the bridge then?
That was my third question.
I think we should. Because again, we might be in a better place to have outdoor gatherings. So, we weren't going to shut the bridge because we couldn't have many people, and it's a lot for the roads department, a lot for recreation. But if we can have larger outdoor gatherings, I think that we should. And it's a great place to watch them from.
Nope, I'm good with that.
Yep.
Bless you. Okay, so that looks like that. So we're good with the July 31st and our regular location and
Yep.
Perfect. Anything else there, Kevin?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'll move
Jack.
on to some of Dana's report. The shop local,
I think Jack had something
Oh,
just
sorry.
yet. What was that, Jack?
Well, just if we want to look forward to or try for multiple locations next year, Tim, it's something we should address in the budget and put in allocation for funding. We're going to have to split it up if we don't have the manpower, and then we'll do it from there. It's something we can talk about with the fire chief and stuff and see if it's possible with his current manpower or whatever. And then we can budget it for next year if we want to do that. That's something we can discuss at that time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jack. That's great advice. Okay, there, Kevin.
okay, we'll go on the Danish report. The shop locals, great, getting a great response. We have 13 businesses that are in the program now, so that's really been it's great to see local groups joining in. The other one was really was good one is the quick facts of Boncher Valley. The little flyer, it's got lots of little interesting tidbits in there. So people will come in. We're going to get them printed off, and we're going to distribute to the tourist information booth in the museum and get them so people come in. They can, when they're out walking, they have something to look at. So it's good for tourism. I think council has all the minor variances and applications that so there's really no need for me to go any further on that issue. Is there any questions from council? Because that's pretty much the end of my report.
Oh, no. Oh, Brett.
And then Kevin, for the timeline for that hydro pole up at the splash pad, did you get a timeline for that to get fixed?
I'm planning on doing it tomorrow.
Okay, sounds good. No, it's kind of ironic it came down because I made note of that when I was there the last time at the splash pad, because we're going around and for the August meeting just to go over some of the things for next year, and that's just one of them. So it'll be nice. And then the bench looks really good at the splash pad. The kids made good use of it the other day. So I just want to appreciate that.
No, thank you very much. No, planning on doing that tomorrow. And as soon as we get that up, then I can just call Hydro and they come and do the hookup again.
Thanks, Kevin.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
See you next month.
Got to go back to the waiting room.
Yeah, just for a sec, Tim. Sorry. You got one last grr and
One last snore. Wake him up.
yeah.
All good? Oh my. That needs a break every once in a while, I guess. I didn't think I was that long-winded today, was I? Nobody's answering. It was a direct question. So, was there anything else on, like we did cover correspondence?
You missed the building inspector's report.
Oh, building inspector's report. Thanks, Merv. Is he here?
So he's out on inspections, and he said, if I'm there, I'm there. If I'm not, it's because I moved to a location in the township that, of course, doesn't have very good service. So I know he was all over the place today. So I did not see him try to get in. So I'm going to assume that he's not going to make it. So his report is in the package. If you have any questions, I can certainly try and answer them. And the only other discussion that we were going to have, it was related to bylaw and animal control. So I'll talk about that quickly after the building, if there's any questions. It's amazing. I can't believe it. No, he's not here today is not a bad thing. It's a good thing, assessment wise, but it's crazy out there.
I just drew my attention. I noticed we got a couple of good building projects in my ward. A couple of new houses.
Honestly, it's just everywhere. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Keep that lumber flowing.
So the only bylaw issue was we talked about the cat issue that was ongoing, and I don't know, Mayor Murphy, if you were able to get a hold of the couple. No. So we have had 2 volunteers. One is an employee, but so Tammy and Janet Virch, I'm going to say is the right name. I hope that I got that right. Have been trapping, live trapping cats and taking them to an organization outside our township that will neuter them for free and is getting them done. And so so hopefully that's going to control our cat population. And some of them that have been caught, I think are kittens, so they're not fully grown. And there are definitely some people who are taking them. So they were actively working on that, which is pretty much what Mark was going to report. So we'll continue to work at that. And that's all I've got.
Go ahead, Jen.
Well, you can thank or pass on our thanks to both ladies. Could you let them know that some lovely people in Foymount reported to me that they're now having a cat problem. So, you know, once they've sort of controlled Eganville, if they can head up to Foymount, that would be wonderful. Thanks.
Bless you. Okay. So if there's nothing else on, thanks for doing Mark's report. That pretty well wraps it up. So I see there's no media, so we're going to establish our next meeting date, which is August the 10th, I believe. And we're going to go ahead, Annette.
Nope, I think you were gonna say it before.
Did we have a time established of when we were going to meet? 10 a.m. or was it 9 a.m.?
At 9.
9. I thought I don't have it in this notepad. So
I can look.
It was scheduled for 9 on August 10th
Yeah.
at the Foymount Fire Hall. And then I think that was our first in-person council meeting afterwards.
our first in-person council.
It's about time.
So, but we can only fit so many people in. So it'll be council and staff coming in to give their reports, but the public, because I don't want to let some people in and turn some people away. And I think council, we sort of talked about that and the awkwardness of that, and that we'll still be using the OWL and all on YouTube until we're sort of, I don't mean unlimited, but until our numbers get high enough up that I don't have to turn somebody away. That seems hard. But if council has a different decision, that was the discussion last time.
Go ahead there, Jack.
I just had on that August 10th, maybe on our way back, we could stop and take a look at our new bridge on Herds Creek over Silver Lake. It's on our way back anyways.
That's
The work should be done by then, and then we can see what we got firsthand, council as a whole. So that's just, it'll only take a couple minutes to stop and take a look at it.
And now everybody's just going to take their personal vehicles up, then I take it and do that. Okay. Sounds good. So if that's good with everyone, so we have our meeting established for 1:30 on August the 10th and the chambers. And can I get a motion to adjourn?
I thought we were going into closed session for a bit.
No, that's this evening, Murph.
Well, that's this evening. Okay.
Don't forget, everyone, you have to log back in at 4:10. We've got 4 minor variances.
Okay.
Oh, boy. Okay. Moved by Brent. All in favor? See you at 4:10.